Alright. Kal halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakadash Kwam Jasharala. Greetings to the hopeful elect. Alright, family, we're gonna go back to second Esdras. I plan to complete, as long as the Most High be willing and providing. I'm trying to complete all 16 chapters. So we're gonna do chapter 5, and later on today we're gonna do chapter 6. It says chapter 5 starts with but about the signs, signs of the end of times. Look, the days will come when those who live on earth will cease with great terror. The way of truth will be hidden. Yeah, it has, false doctrines. And the land will be barren and devoid of faith. Injustice will be multiplied beyond what you yourself see and beyond what you have heard formerly. The land that now you see holding sway will have no one left to walk upon it, and people will see it desolate. But if the Most High grants that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the third period, and the sun shall suddenly shine forth at night, and the moon during the day. Blood shall drip from the wood, and the stone shall utter its voice. The people shall be troubled, and the stars shall fall, and one shall reign, whom those who dwell on earth do not expect. And the birds shall fly away together, and the sea of Sodom shall cast up fish, and one whom many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all shall hear his voice. Okay, I'm gonna stop there for a minute. I mean, in a nutshell, he pretty much described what we're living on these days, especially since 2020. And I wonder, people don't know is Yahweh Shai, man, because they call him Jesus. They think he's a white Edomite, and people have their own worldly religions. And hey, man, you know what? I'm not even gonna decipher that, man. Just read it, rewind this video, or read it yourself. Second Esdras chapter 5. Let's proceed. Okay. There shall be chaos also in many places, and fire shall often break out, and the wild beasts shall roam beyond their habitats, and monstrous women shall bring forth monstrous children. All right, man. Hey, it's true, man, because hey, man, fires are breaking down everywhere, and the wild beast Esau is going wild, and yeah, man, these women, man, they could be Edomites, Hetans, or 2/3 of our people. They bring forth monsters, man. Ungodly children. And the salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall conquer one another. Then shall reason hide itself, and wisdom shall withdraw into its chamber, and it shall be sought by many, but shall not be found. And the unrighteousness and the unrestraint shall increase on earth. Yeah, man, lawlessness has increased on earth. In one country shall ask the neighbor, has righteous or anyone who does right pass through you? No, pretty much no one does right. And there will be answer no. And at that time men shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. These are one of the signs which I am permitted to tell you. And if you pay attention and weep as you do now, and fast for 7 days, you shall hear yet greater things than these. Conclusions. Okay, now next part it says is the conclusions of the vision. Then I woke, and my body shuddered violently, and my soul was so troubled that it fainted. But the angel who had come and talked with me held me and strengthened me and set me on my feet. Now on the second night, Patinel, a chief of the people, came to me and said, where have you been, and why is your face sad? Or do you not know that Israel has been entrusted to you in the land of their exile? Rise therefore and eat some bread, so that you may not forsake us like a shepherd who leaves his flock in the power of cruel wolves. Then I said to him, depart from me, and I do not come near me for 7 days. Then you may come to me. Basically, Esdras was, he was getting exhortation. So after 7 days, he was gonna come. Kind of like us, man. We've been out here to serve our, 1/3 of our people, and that's what we have to do. Now it says Ezra's second prayer of complaint. And after 7 days, the thoughts of my heart were very grievous. This is Ezra, right? And to me again, then my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began once more to speak words in the presence of the Most High. And I said, O sovereign Yahweh Elohim, from every forest of the earth and from all its streets, thou hast chosen one vine, and from all the lands of the world, thou hast chosen for thyself one region, and from all the flowers of the world, thou hast chosen for thyself one lily, and from all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled for thyself one river, and from all the cities that have been built, thou hast consecrated Zion for thyself, and from all the birds that have been created, thou hast named for himself one dove, and from all the flocks that have been made, thou hast provided for himself one sheep, and from all the multitudes of people thou hast gotten for thyself one people, and to this one people whom thou hast loved, thou hast given the law, which is approved by by y'all. And now, O Elohim, why hast thou given over the one to the many in dishonor, the one foot beyond the other, and scattered them only one amongst the many? And those who oppose them promises have trodden down those who have believed in the covenant. If thou hast really hated the people, then these should be punished at the onwards response to Ezra's complaint. Basically, Esdras is complaining about our current situation and why the chosen people at the bottom of the food chain. That's what he's saying. When I had spoken these words, the angel who had come to me on the previous night was sent to me again, and he said to me, listen to me, and I will instruct you, pay attention to me, and I will tell you more. Okay, so the Most High sent him an angel. And he said, speak. And then I said, speak. And he said to me, are you greatly disturbed in mind over Israel, or do you love him more than his maker does? And I said, no, my Lord, but because of my grief I have spoken. For every hour I suffer again agonies of the heart, while I strive to understand the way of the Most High, and to search out part of his judgment. And he said to me, you cannot. And I said, why not, my Lord, and why then was I born? Or why did not my mother womb become my grave, that I might not see the trivial of Jacob and the exhaustion of the people of Israel? Basically, our misery. He's asking why we're so miserable. He said to me, count up for me those who have not yet come, and gather for me the scattered raindrops, and make the withered flowers bloom again for me. Open for me the closed chambers, and bring forth for me the winds. Shut it up in them, or show me the pictures of a voice, and then I will explain to you the travels that you ask to understand. And I said, oh, sovereign Lord, who is able to know these things, except he who dwells is not with men? As for me, I am without wisdom, and how can I speak concerning the things which thou hast asked me? He said to me, just as you cannot do one of these things that were mentioned, so you cannot discover my judgment or the goal of the love that I have promised my people. All right, this one's deep. See, in the beginning, he told him, do you love, your people Israel more than the one who created them? Obviously, because, he's complaining about our current state. And in the end, he asked him all these things about, he knows where the flowers blossom and, where the raindrops drops and all that, was to let him know that he could never understand the master, the whole plan of the Most High, what I'm saying? We're just going to have to go through the process. Okay, why successive generations have been created, he says, right? And I said, yet behold, oh Lord, though have change of those who are alive at the end, but what will those who were before us, or we, or those who come after us? He said to me, I shall liken my judgment to a circle. Just as for those who are last, there is no slowness, so for those who are first, there is no haste. Then I answered and said, could thou not have created at one time those who have been, and that those who are, and those who will be, that thou might show the judgment to them the sooner? He replied to me and said, the creation cannot make more haste than the Creator, neither can the world hold at one time those who have been created in it. And I said, how hast thou said to the servant that thou wilt certainly give life at one time to the creation? If therefore all creations will live at one time, and the creation will sustain them. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there real quick because I went deep. Basically, he's asking him, what happened to the people of yesteryear, today, and the people of the future, And he's asking, man, how come they can't all be together at one time to see the judgment? And he said that, the earth can't hold all the creation because, we are reincarnation. We are our forefathers, but that's another subject. All right, let's continue. And again, sustain them, and I might even not be able to support all of them present at one time. He said to me, ask a woman's womb and say to it, if you bear if you bear 10 children, why one after the other? Requested therefore to produce 10 at one time. I said, of course it cannot, but only each one in its own time. He said to me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those who from time to time are sown to it. For as an infant those do not bring forth, and a woman who has become old does not bring forth any longer. So have I organized the world which I created. Yeah, basically told him, okay, well, if a woman has 10 children, why don't you tell her to have all 10 at once? See? And he said, no, one at each time. See? Same as, every generation, one at each time, at a portion of time. When and how will the end come? Then I said, I inquired and said, since thou hast now given me the opportunity, let me speak before thee. Is our mother, of whom he has told me, still young, or is she now approaching old age? He replied to me and asked me, a woman who bears children, and she will tell you. Say to her, why are those whom you have born recently not like those whom you had before, but similar in stature? And she herself will answer you, those born in the strength of youth are different from those born during the time of old age, when the womb is failing. Therefore you also should consider that you and your contemporaries are similar in stature than those who were before you, and those who come after you will be similar than those who were born of a creation which already is aging and passing the strength of youth. And I said, oh Lord, I beseech that if I have found favor in thee, show thee servant through whom thou dost visit it, the creation. He said to me in the beginning, okay, well, that's the end of the chapter. I was going to go to the 6th chapter. So he asked him, who visited, he said, like he said, if I found favor in you, show the servant whom has visited the creation. Okay, basically, he's asking him, about Israel, Jeshurala, and the Most High told him that the ones born before, like the previous generation, were strong, and then they were weak, and now we're gonna be strong again, like we used to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this chapter comes really deep, man. You know what I'm saying? But the next chapter, man, comes even deeper, man. So I'm gonna do that later on today. You know what I'm saying? But I hope this was edifying. Read it for yourself, or retrace the video if you don't want to read, because it's kind of it runs kind of deep. And on that note, we'll say shalom.